Hi guys, welcome to another week of online learning. I hope you guys had a good weekend. I am here today to videotape the next iReady close read for you, and it is comparing and contrasting. Same skill as last week, but this week we are doing stories. So all of you guys who love fiction, we are here. We are doing fiction. So this is about a snake and a lizard, and there are two passages within the same book. So we're going to compare and contrast how the snake and the lizard's relationship and the plot and the theme, which is the lesson, how they're alike and how they're different. So if you can see my screen, this is what yours will look like. Again, this read to understand portion is just for you to go through the text, and it's gauging how well are you actually reading the story. If you're getting all of them wrong, you probably should be reading a little bit closer. If you are getting most of them right, then you're ready to move on to the read to analyze part. So I'm going to move forward to the read to analyze.
Ready for our second read?
Ready. So this would be your second time
I'm going
reading
to keep track of how many questions you get right. I know you already read this text once, but it's important that you reread it before choosing your answers. If you do that, you'll get a better score.
Okay, and I do have the questions on my phone, so if I'm looking down, that's why. So I'm going to walk you through each and every option without actually answering the questions, if that makes sense. So we'll go ahead and start. You should have like these little exclamation points over on the side. So remember, this should be your second time reading it through. These little hyperlinks are vocab words that you're able to flip the card and figure out what it means. Flip, and it tells you exactly what it means, and it will even read it to you. So if you're not sure what that word means, please click it so that way it doesn't hold you back from understanding what the page is talking about. So we'll go ahead and start with our first question.
Lizard tells Snake, I've got a surprise for you. I put it on your bed. What surprise does Lizard think he has left for Snake?
So Lizard's so excited about this surprise that he's giving to Snake. And he's so happy for Snake to see it and see her reaction. I think it's a her or a his reaction. I'm not sure. Yes, it's a her. So if we go back, whoops, not there. If we go back to the page, we want to figure out, what did Lizard leave for Snake? What did he think about giving her? It says here on this page, I'll give her a surprise. So you need to figure out, what does he think he's giving her? Because it's not actually what it is. What does he believe he's leaving her as a surprise?
Lizard tells Snake,
so you'll have to
I've
check
got a
which
surprise
one.
for you. I put it on your bed. What
surprise does he think he's left? So then we'll go to page 2. Oh, whoops, that is page 2. Okay, so we'll go here. I think maybe there is a second question. Let's see. I don't think it is. Let's check.
Lizard tells Snake,
one, yeah.
I've got a...
Okay, so then we're going to the next page. So you'll go to page 3. And there's another question.
What is the main problem in the story Surprise?
What is the main problem in the story Surprise? So the surprise is like this first little story text that you're reading. Problem, they're asking like, what's the biggest obstacle? What's the biggest challenge? Is it a problem that let's go over each answer. So problem number 1, Snake and Lizard are fighting because Lizard doesn't know the difference. They are fighting because he doesn't know the difference, but is that the biggest problem of the whole thing? That he doesn't know the difference between the eggs? Is that the problem here? Number 2, Lizard thinks Snake should have to talk to the rattlesnake because she's the rattlesnake's cousin. Is that the problem? Regardless of if he actually thinks that or not, is it the problem here? Number 3, there is a rattlesnake in his bed and Snake and Lizard are fighting about it. Is that the biggest problem that's going on in this story? Is that an issue? Is that a challenge? Is that the biggest thing that's wrong here? Or is it D? It's getting dark and they're arguing because they have to go to bed. So problem meaning, what's the biggest issue? Lizard may not know the difference. Lizard might think he has to talk to him. There may be a rattlesnake in the bed, or it might be getting dark. So which one is the biggest issue, the biggest problem here. And I'll give you a hint. I actually got this one wrong because I thought that something that does happen and is true was the biggest problem, but it's not the biggest problem of the whole story. What's the biggest problem of the whole entire story? How it impacts these characters. So we'll go to page 4. Next question.
What's the meaning of spines on this page? Use clues from the text.
So spines, and it says to use your clues. So here, I would tell you the biggest clue, they were very uncomfortable. That is a very, very big clue. So if you're uncomfortable and the space is not very big and it's filled with things that are uncomfortable to you that you would not want to sleep near, which one of these, skins, flowers, roots, or thorns, is the most uncomfortable, and you would not want to be next to it? So that's the biggest clue I can give you there. Whoops, I forgot a question. Page 5. Right here.
How is the main problem in the story surprise solved?
So main problem. This is what we went over last time. So whatever you chose as the main problem, maybe you chose that it's Lizard doesn't know the difference. Maybe you chose that there's a rattlesnake egg in his cave or whatever. You have to figure out how is it solved. So on this page, it tells you how they fixed that problem. And I will tell you the correct answer is in the 4th paragraph. It says the little rattlesnake is sliding out of the doorway. It moves slowly. And then at the very end, they looked around and sighed with pleasure. And at the end, they're laughing. So whichever one you think belongs to it, Lizard does remove the fragments of the egg. It says here, snake dusts her bed to get rid of the smell. That's how they got rid of the egg. Is that how they solved the biggest problem? I don't know. Did they figure out a way to get her to leave? Did they finally get some sleep? Is that how the biggest problem was solved? Or did the rattlesnake leave and then they laughed about it? How is it solved? How does this problem of the rattlesnake being in there, how is it figured out? Lizard removing the fragments of the egg actually happens after he leaves. So I don't know that him taking the egg out actually fixed the problem. So you got to think about that. How was it solved? Was it solved because he dusted it and took the egg out? He did that after. So that's my little hint for you. Let's skip to the next page, page 5. So now we're at the end of this story. This is the last question for this story, and then we go on to the second small passage about the same 2 characters, but it's a different story.
What is the theme of the story Surprise?
Okay, so theme. This is my favorite skill. Theme means the lesson, the moral. What is the big idea, the central message? We have many, many words for it, but it really means, what are you learning here? What can we take away from it? So you guys understand there was a problem and it was fixed and they're laughing about it after. You are mine, dear Lizard. Only do me a favor, please. No more surprises. I don't know why we argue like we do. It's because we're different. So obviously you can see some sort of friendship building back up here. So is it saying that good friends can be different from each other? Is that what the big lesson, the big takeaway is? Good friends shouldn't try to surprise each other with gifts? Is that what this story is teaching us? Good friends shouldn't argue with each other all the time? Is that the biggest lesson? Or is the lesson that friends can survive tough times and they can still laugh together afterward? I would call a rattlesnake egg a tough time. I would say that's a tough time. And are they able to laugh together afterward? Is that what the author is trying to tell us here? So make sure that you're thinking about these. What would be the biggest takeaway? Even though the characters are different from each other, is that what the whole story is talking about? Is that the lesson here? So what is a life lesson that you can gain from this story? All right, we are going to move to page 6 for this.
After finishing the story Surprise, we have an answer to our big question. What can we learn from Snake and Lizard about friendship? Well, We learned that friends can go through tough times.
A little bit about the message.
As long as you can still laugh about it afterward.
Nice. But remember, to really answer our big question, we need to think about both stories. Now we're on our second story, money. Let's start by figuring out the plot.
Okay, so a little plot review for you. Plot is what happens. Plot are the events that happen in the story. That's all it is. Don't get scared by the word plot. Plot just means what is happening in the story. So the plot of the Three Little Pigs, there's a wolf. He goes to each house. He blows them all down, blah, blah, blah. Those are the events. That's the plot of the story. So let's click on this first one in the
money,
second story.
Snake and Lizard start a business. Select the text that best shows what the main problem with their business is.
Make sure that you have read this, okay? I have already read it. So as you're going through this with me, make sure, please, 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 that you've already read this and that this should actually be your second time reading it with me, okay? In this section, money, Snake and Lizard are starting a business. What shows the problem of their business? Is it that they're excited? Is that a problem? The pinkness of dawn, they went out to set up their stalls. Doesn't seem like a problem. He paints a sign that tells people the price. Is that a problem? They wait for their customers. Is that a problem? A number of creatures, meaning a lot of people went by, but nobody stopped. Is that a problem? I would argue that it could be. The sun came up high and hot, and Lizard is feeling thirsty. So that's a problem, but is it a problem with his business? Which one is a problem with his business? Hi. Mila's here with me. Okay. The last page, page 7. This one has multiple questions, I believe.
Select the question mark.
Okay.
Choose the answer that best describes the plot of money.
So this one has like 3 parts, I think. There should be like 3 chart questions. Let me just make sure. Best shows the main problem of the business. Yeah. Okay. So first one you're going to fill in is the plot of money, which is the second story. So which one of these is the plot or the events in the story money? They decide to start a business, but it's unsuccessful. They don't make money, but they have a lot of fun. Is that what happened? So make sure that you've read it. Never mind. It's been a fun morning. Let's go into business again sometime. They picked up their clay pots and they went home. So is that the story plot of what happened? Did they find a 10-cent coin and decide to use the money to start a business? Even if that's true, is that all of the events of the story? Is that the plot of the entire story? They start to sell cactus juice and corn cakes. They sell everything that they have and they have an awesome time. Is that what happens in the story? I don't know. And then last, Snake and Lizard are upset because the desert animals aren't buying anything and they decide to give up. Are they very, very upset by that? You need to pick which one makes the most sense. Then you will pick how the plots are alike and how they're different, which it won't let me show it here until I pick one, but I do have a picture of it. I don't have a picture of it, actually. I have one for the next one, which is theme. So then you'll tell me how the plots are alike and different. The plot of this one says there's an issue, they fight about it, and the snake and the lizard laugh about their problem at the end. With money, they have an issue also, and it seems like they laugh about it at the end and are still friends. So this last one, you're just going to tell me how they're alike and how they're different. Are both talking about friendships and how you can still be friends after? Are they both friends after the snake and the lizard? Seems like they're friends in both stories. So you'll need to figure out which one tells me how they're alike and how they're different. The next part of the story, whoops, I don't think it lets me go forward, asks me about how the themes are alike and different. So this one, again, it won't let me show you, but I have it on my phone here. So the theme, remember, theme is the overall message. It's the lifelong moral of the story, the life lesson. The life lesson of this second story, money, is it that good friends will always have fun together, but they'll have even more fun if things go well? Maybe. If you're going to start a business, think carefully about it, how it will be successful. Is this whole story talking about how to have a successful business? You'll have to think about that. When something doesn't go as planned, it's sometimes hard to forget about it. Do these people have a hard time, or these characters have a hard time forgetting about the issues they faced? Is that the life lesson? Or even if things don't work out as they planned, good friends can still have fun. Is that something that is in both stories? And is that something that is in the second plot as well? You'll have to decide how they're the same and how they're different. Do they both talk about tough times and how to survive those times? Do they both talk about friends getting through hard times? Do they both talk about, does only one talk about getting through a hard time with the rattlesnake egg? And the second one, they're just friends and they're just laughing about it. You'll have to compare and contrast the plots, which is the events of what happens, to decide what the right answer is. So I believe that is it for the read to analyze section. So now I'm going to take you to the read to write. This is my favorite part. Read to write. So we'll go there and I'm going to help you answer this question with kind of what I'm expecting for it. Okay. Let's see.
It's time to answer one more big question. For this one, you need to write a longer answer. And as always, go back to the text to find evidence. Use these arrows to turn the pages.
Okay, I love that they include these.
What makes Lizard both a foolish and likable character? First, tell some things Lizard does that are foolish. Then explain what is likable about him. Use details from the story to explain your reasons. Write 2 paragraphs.
I don't care so much about you writing 2 full paragraphs, okay? I don't care so much about that as long as you give me text evidence. If you can give me 2 details from the story, maybe one how he's foolish and one how he's likable, I'm okay with that. So I like these arrows because it lets you use details from the story. It doesn't mean for you to say out of your head why you think he's foolish, you think he's silly, whatever. You have to tell me why. Why is he foolish? It would be just like calling a friend a funny person. Why is that person funny? Because they always have good jokes. They do this, this, and this. I need examples, okay? So we're talking all about Lizard. So here I would write something like, Lizard is both foolish and likable in these stories. You don't have to write that. That's just an introductory sentence, which means you're introducing the topic. Lizard is a foolish character because he blah, 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 blah. In fact, after Snake said whatever, after Snake said this, this, and this, Lizard was foolish because this. And foolish means like you're easily pranked, easily tricked. Maybe he is being like not so bright, not so smart. Those would all be different ways to describe somebody who's foolish. So why is he foolish? And then I would say Lizard is also likable. Because likable meaning that he's friendly and that you can like him. Because he, for example, tried to surprise his friend, the snake. He is a friendly and blah, blah, blah animal because blank. Why is he likable? What else does he do? What does he suggest something in the second story? This would be a great time to write in text too. Lizard does this. Or you could also call it by the title. In the story, Money, Lizard does this. So what does Lizard do in story 1? What does Lizard do in story 2? So I broke it up as a foolish paragraph. Let me do this to make it easier. I broke it up as Lizard being foolish up top, and then Lizard being likable at the bottom. But it's totally up to you. You're welcome to do how he is foolish in both stories and then how he's likable in both stories. Or if you want to just start with story 1, just story 2, whatever makes the most sense for you. But I need you to include both character traits about Lizard. He is a foolish person, but he's also likable. So I want you to give me examples about both, okay? So if you can do that, you will be good to go. And remember, I need text evidence, okay? I wish you the best of luck on this assignment. I think it's actually a little bit easier given that it is fiction and it's fun characters. It is going over skills that we've already done, like central message, plot, things like that. So really want to see what you guys know and how well you do. And if you need anything at all, please message me and I'm happy to help. All right. Good luck. I will see you guys later.